So I just saw 28 Years Later, The Bone Temple, directed by DaCosta. I didn't know what to expect from this. The previous film was so weird that it was hard to predict what the next step was going to be. I wasn't sure what to make of Danny Boyle stepping away from the director chair. I have no real opinion on Nia DaCosta because I hadn't seen any of her work, but I was a bit disappointed that it wasn't going to be Boyle. And also, this film got a January release, which is usually reserved for the trash that studios have no faith in. And so there was like a lot of uncertainty going into this sequel, and after watching it, I can say that this sequel franchise is going strong. There are some notable changes from the previous film. It's not as stylistically aggressive. It discards the iPhone cinematography and feels much more standard. The editing is much less erratic and jittery, although it still has its jarring moments. The biggest upset is that Young Fathers didn't provide the score for this one. The previous film's score was off-putting and ominous, and instead we get something fairly pedestrian. What's weird is that Hildur Gudnadottir was the composer for this, and her work is usually quality, and the score pales in comparison both to the other films and Gudnadottir's previous work. So I don't know what was going on there. Despite having a more standard presentation, this film is much weirder in terms of the story's content. The antagonists are explicitly based on notorious serial sex offender Jimmy Savile, and it's honestly surprising that we got something like this in a mainstream film. I like how the film explores the concept of culture coming to an end in 2002. Jimmy Crystal and his gang have this perverted, mutated reverence for pre-2002 pop culture. It's almost folklore to them. They revered Savile as some sort of mystic icon. However, as audiences in 2026, we know that Jimmy Savile was outed as a monster after his death. But these characters never got to find out the truth because the world never made it to 2012. It creates this subtly sinister undercurrent to these characters since they don't realize the true horror lurking under the surface. With these characters being so obsessed with half-remembered TV shows from nearly 30 years ago, I like to think it's a commentary on the current state of the film industry, where regurgitated sequels and reboots are rampant. Alfie Williams takes a backseat here and lets Ralph Fiennes and Jack O'Connell shine. Fiennes is a scene stealer as always. He's a total natural. I love how he's able to bring so much fun to such a dour character. His character's relationship with Samson the Alpha is explored more deeply here, and I love the direction it heads down. I don't think I've seen something like it in a zombie movie before. Like, it's a very refreshing plot thread, the more I think about it. Jack O'Connell is out of his mind and plays one of the most unhinged antagonists in recent years. This is easily one of the best horror sequels out there, even though the previous film was a sequel too. It acts as a continuation of the story instead of being a rehash, which is far too rare. I personally prefer 28 Years Later because of its nightmarish tone, but I would say that this one has a more interesting story and characters. If the third film is as good as the other two, then this will easily be one of the best trilogies of all time. I found this to be very refreshing, and I'm feeling an 8 out of 10 on it.